that's all we have here, so if you have another one,
I don't. I mean, obviously,
right. Okay, well, I'll put everything that's on there, like for instant for you, okay?
and I just double each one.
Yep, you can just double click. And then, are you okay with using the arrows? Do you have someone here to help you?
If they make it,
Okay, if not, I'll come up. Okay, no problem.
he's helping somebody. So I'm just gonna sit behind Chris.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna fill my group and then you can meet up with me outside.
Hey, the Watsy guy, Shane, me and him were in the same squadrons, both on the East Coast. So his guys were there.
Escambia County Redevelopment Agency regular meeting December 11, 2025, 4:25 p.m. Actually 4:28. Thank you. Please turn your cell phone to vibrate, silent, or the off setting. The Board of County Commission allows any person to speak regarding an item on the agenda. The speaker is limited to 2 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairman. Is there proof of publication?
Yes, this meeting was published in the Pensacola News Journal, December 4, 2025.
Thank you. Are there any speakers for public forum?
No, sir.
Thank you. Technical and Public Service, Ms. Long.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Our first one is under Technical and Public Services recommendation concerning the CRA, Community Redevelopment Agency meeting minutes, November the 6th, 2025, for your review and approval.
Chair entertain a motion.
Move the technical public
We have a
service
motion.
consent.
Please vote. Passes unanimous. Thank you so much. Budget and Finance consent agenda.
Yes, Commissioner, we have two recommendations. The first is a recommendation concerning the Residential Improvement Grant Program Funding and Lien Agreement. There's a A and B for your review and approval. And the second one is a recommendation concerning the cancellation of the Residential Rehab Grant Program liens, and there's a A and B for your review and approval.
Mr. Chairman, I move the entire budget and finance.
Thank you. Please vote. That passes unanimous. Thank you. Claire, is there anything else?
We just had just a few status update from the last meeting regarding some sewer questions. Just to answer, Commissioner Hofberger, you had mentioned about about our trust and working with the LLC. We do work with those. With the trust, we work with our income base as well as our rehab. LLC, we generally work with them with our commercial grants. And as far as properties being in a state, there's not many that come through our program, but when they do, we do have an offset where we work with legal services for those individuals. So everybody that actually comes to our organization and apply or needing assistance, we do whatever we can to get them on the right track to provide that assistance. You're welcome.
Thank you for the update. Or any more updates?
We did analysis of our CRAs as far as sewer, and a lot of, there's a few CRAs that are basically kind of saturated with sewer, and that would be Barrancas and Warrenton, Atwood, Cantonment, and Oakville, but majority of our CRAs are underserved when it comes to sewer capacity.
Well, Claire, I just want to make sure, throughout the holidays, kids are out of schools and our CRAs, that our programs are running efficiently and we're feeding children and we're taking care of them, particularly when they're out of school. Particularly in these blighted areas, children have nowhere to go, they have nothing to eat, particularly when they're out of school for 2 weeks. So I want to make sure that we're allocating funds and we're taking care of those children in those low-income and blighted areas.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else?
No, I just wanted to see if the board is open to entertaining working with non-homesteaded property owners with connecting to sewer. That's the only thing that was on the agenda.
Commissioner Kohler?
Yeah, I'm very supportive of this. I know the board's had some discussion going back and forth, but being on the SRA program, obviously the waterways are a huge factor, and this is
Yes,
one of the things that could help with that. So I would like to do that, Commissioner May.
Yeah, I mean, I could be supportive. I mean, I'm not real supportive of slumlords, nor am I.
Yes.
I'm supportive of these big developers that have no ties to our community, that are
Right.
taking advantage of tax dollars that are being generated in Escambia County, and they don't live here and don't contribute. So I'll be open-minded as long as we had some criteria that define exactly who could, and not just making it all open, that,
Right.
a developer from New Hampshire could be a part of a CRA in Brownsville.
Is
Yeah.
there a way to tie that to affordable housing?
I mean, you could.
Well, there is a caveat that we could add to our agreement, working with legal, for those that, if they do come to our program to get connected to sewer, that we can say that they can't, raise the rent more than 5% each year, and we will monitor that each year to make sure it's still affordable. And if they decide to sell within the 3 years of the compliance, then they will have to sell it to an affordable
Actually, I like
buyer.
where you're
So
going with
we
that.
can put some, some criteria in place to kind of minimize that and make it continue to be affordable.
I like that.
I like what the chair lady is saying, that it needs to be some language that allows for it to stay affordable rents, and, that they can't sell 3 to 5 years. I mean, actually, I like the 5 better than the 3.
Okay.
So if you could do that, maybe you can bring it back by the February CRA meeting.
Absolutely, we can do
All
that.
right, cool. Commissioner Cole? All right, with that, we stand adjourned. Madam Chair, in your hands.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the public forum. Please turn your cell phones to the vibrate, silent, or off setting. The Gary Sansing Public Forum is attended for matters not included on the agenda for the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting. Citizens wishing to address items on the agenda should sign up to speak to such items at the regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protest, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the Gary Sansing Public Forum. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. If we have more than 15 speakers signed up to speak, out of respect for all attendees and speakers, we will limit speakers to 2 minutes. At the chairperson's discretion, the Gary Sansing Public Forum may end 5 minutes prior to the scheduled start of the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting to allow for the meeting to commence on time. Our first speaker is Ms. Mary Konopka, and Stephen Pate, you would be next. We have also introduced a chime, so it will chime after the 2 minutes is up, and if you can make sure to wrap up your thoughts and allow for the next person to come after that chime.
I have a Christmas story that's probably going to take longer than 3 minutes, but it's been put together by a lot of the people in here.
So you get 2 minutes to speak, and then it will need to pass to the next person.
Won't be as effective, and Lumen Mesa won't like that. It will take longer. But here it goes. This is going on my 16th month of being homeless. In August of 2024, I entered the hospital with a pulse ox of 84. Your nurse on the board can tell you that was pretty critical. They worked on me for countless hours, every test in the book, and I was on a breathing machine the whole time. I was discharged with many differential diagnoses, but no true understanding of the episode. Several days later, the electricity in a third of my home went out and water was gushing down the walls. You've got some pictures up there. It was a bad roofing job. I called the roofer and they said, "Oh, we got a permit. You've been inspected. It's not our problem." I got a copy of my permit, my inspection. I went to Miss Reber in the building place, and I don't know if you know who she is. She will take bad contractors to the competency board. And she goes, "Oops, county made a mistake. You're in a mobile home, so you don't have to have a permit." And just because they did an inspection, that's a moot point because you didn't need a permit in the first place. So if you want to take these contractors to a competency board, can't do it. As a matter of fact, no roof in Escambia County gets inspected, boots on the roof, eyes on the roof. The inspector simply drives by, says, "Oh, okay, inspection."
Thank you. Stephen Pate, you're next, and then Shirley Murray, you'll be after Stephen Pate. Is Stephen Pate here? Okay, Shirley Murray. If you'll go on and come up. Shirley Murray. What about Joe Murray? Joe Winstead? Do I have a Joe Murray or a Joe Winstead? Do I have a Tracy Farmer? Tracy Farmer? Vanita McLeod? Is there a Miss McLeod? Brian Ward? Is there a Mr. Brian Ward? Lisa Rogers? Is there a Lisa Rogers? Charlie Winship? Charlie Winship? Or Denise Winship? Denise Winship? Reggie Jackson? Do we have a Reggie Jackson in the audience? Alea DeTora? Alea Victoria? Debbie Owens? Is there a Debbie Owens in the audience? Debbie Owens. Chris Kerb?
I had my tooth pulled today, so I'm going to rumble through this. But the reason you had all these people sign up is Mary had a Christmas story here, and she wanted to give the whole 6 minutes. So I can either read this or I can let her read it.
You can read it.
Okay.
Well, that's ADA compliant, isn't it?
Huh? What's that?
I said that's ADA compliant.
ADA compliant? I mean, I have a tooth problem, so I can't have an assistant. Oh, wow, okay. Y'all understand ADA, right? A plumber was called to investigate, finding gaping holes in my 14-month-old roof. Mold samples showed over 1 million spores, some kind of spores. Yeah. I was instructed immediately to evacuate my house and my service animals and leave everything in the house alone because it was contaminated. Had I not done that, I'm most likely be dead. I've been without my service animals for 16 months now because I have no way to house them or take care of them. She got a picture up there. And as a cat whisperer, I no longer have the facilities to the house to socialize difficult adoptions and support of several shelters. Thousands of dollars later, after professional inspections, it was determined that my roof was improperly installed. You saw the pictures a while ago. Calls to the roofing companies to take advantage of my 5-year warranty. Their excuse was it was inspected and passed by county inspections office. Yes, she had a permit, and yes, it was but she didn't need a permit, as she said earlier, because mobile homes don't have to have roofing inspection permits. I wonder why that is. Anyway, additional roofing companies should know the rules in a scheme.
Thank you, Chris. Kathy Russian. And Keith Hall, you'll be next. So Kathy Rushing and then Keith Hall.
Wasn't planning on coming down here, folks, because look at how I'm dressed. But I got in my car. I thought I might go to Walmart, but I came straight down here. And it was to say thank you. Your road department is awesome. Life is great. I had, 5 days of rain? I didn't look out my window. I didn't check because that water was flowing just fine. And I have so much to be grateful for, and you've got an awesome road department. And you give them some praise, Commissioner, because they really have fixed it. I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. I'm thankful for all the support you gave me when I had my problem and how well it's been handled. And I feel joyful about it because I was able to lay down my burden. And I thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Remeshing and coming. Hey, Madam Chair. No, I do think we should all give Public Works a big round of applause. I've been dealing with Ms. Rushing the whole time I've been up here, and in a good way, but I'm glad we could help you. And thank you, Jamie, and the whole department.
Yes, thank you. Keith Hall, and then Francis Opitz.
Hello. I was just going to ask the commissioners if you could please support customary use of public beaches in Perdido Key, Escambia County, and if the commissioners could make that ordinance granting us, thank you, Bubby.
Thanks, Larry.
Granting locals access to public beaches in Perdido Key. And thank you for your time. You guys have Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you. Francis Opitz, and then Laura Begras? Thank you. Like Mardi Gras, yes.
Good afternoon and Merry Christmas. That was a wonderful thing. Such a positive woman. I love her. Anyway, I'm here about the customary use also for the beaches. And I've been looking at some of the discussions, and I'm kind of don't understand the whole thing, because after such an extensive research that Governor DeSantis did to sign this SB 1622 into law, he's done it for a reason. You know, it restores the local use and recognizes recreational customary use without going through the expensive legal battles over private versus public access on the by parcel. He has made it easy for us. And we surely don't need to purchase a national seashore to maintain. You know, we just received an assessment that we just all paid, and that was added to our property taxes just this year. And it hurt a lot of our residents this year. And really, I'm thinking that just considering any unnecessary purchases and expenses at that time seems a little bit insensitive to our people here. And I don't think it's necessary. It's simple. You know, Governor DeSantis has done your work for you, really. And all we're asking is to give the beaches back to us. You know, the beaches are being maintained perfectly right now, so we don't have any problems. And the money that we were planning on buying this thing, we could do with so many things here. You know, just our roads alone could use some work. Anyway, the other thing that I'd like for all of you to remember is that, you know, all of the Alabama beaches are absolutely public.
Thank you.
So please support this bill for us and
Thank
make Perdido a nice place to go to. Thank
Laura,
you.
you're next, and then Michael Bearden will be after Laura. Michael Bearden.
Thank you. We were pleased to hear that a draft was being prepared to present at the COW. Is that correct? A draft was being prepared?
No, ma'am, we have not done that.
Okay. So has a COW been scheduled or a meeting been scheduled?
Not for customary use, no, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we've talked a lot about private versus public at the last couple of meetings. I'd just like to reiterate that our beach goers are not just tourists. While we continue to maintain that we are losing rentals and tourists, we're also depriving local residents use of our public beaches. We vote, we pay taxes here, and I believe that SB 1622 was intended to empower each county to decide where private property ends and the beach designated for the public to enjoy as established by customary use, which we all have pictures and experiences going back decades up until the last few years. So I'd like to urge all of you to please get this moving. I guess I'm disappointed that we haven't moved further. So my question would be, we had heard that after the hearing that was happening several months ago, that there would be a decision soon. Where are we then in the process for discussing this issue?
Commissioner Stroberger, are you ready to address that, or do you want to wait?
No, I'm still doing some more research on this. I'll invite you and Francis to my office so we can talk some more about this privately if you want to. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd like to know publicly what the commissioners, I mean, I thought this was in the works, so I'm a little taken aback that we're now going to talk in private about it.
Michael Bearden, and then Larry Downs Jr., you'll be next.
Hi, my name is Michael Bearden, 11716 Chanticleer Court, Pensacola. I haven't been here in a couple of years. I kind of just candidly got fed up with all the pretending to be doing something. But it's now getting to the point where I had to come back again because we're a lucky county here. We've got lots of construction going on, lots of updating, lots of jobs available. We're really green money-wise with regards to people investing here. Now we're going to pretty up downtown. We're going to take a lot of money to what it really already needs is just to resurface it. We're going to wind up causing a bunch of businesses to foreclose because nobody will be able to get to them. Because as we know, a lot of business, especially downtown, is thought of the day to go in and buy something. We need to take a strong look at our infrastructure. And I'll wait till you guys can listen to me. Are we back? We need to take a strong look at our infrastructure. Riding roads around in our county is like we should have ourselves a four-wheel golf cart because it bounces around everywhere. I live in the Grand Lagoon area, and the roads, it's been so long since anybody's done it, you have to be careful where you drive because you have dips in the roadway, in the middle of the roadway, around drainage pipes and such. You've got the road ridden on so long with no upkeep that you're riding on rocks, not asphalt. And that's just my area. As I drive around the county, which I love living in, I see more and more we're ignoring the infrastructure and smiling because we're getting more money from people building. That money's got to go somewhere
Thank
else
you,
also.
Michael. Larry Downs Jr., you're
Yeah, we
next.
got to do some infrastructure here. You're welcome.
Thank you. Larry, you're up. And I do want to remind everyone, if you have a pothole or an issue like that, if you'll email, we can send that straight to the roads department, and they're usually on those within 48 hours. I've never had a problem with their response, and they're very, very timely with that. Keith Wilkins, you will be after Larry Downs.
Larry Downs, Junior Plumbing LLC, because fecal matters. All right. I see I got a whole whopping 2 minutes. Got to cut these people down. I mean, the place is full. Come on. Are y'all kidding me? This is ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourselves not wanting to listen to these citizens, literally. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and move on into this. Of course, y'all really should have listened to Mary. That's just pitiful that you can't listen to an old lady up here. She's got people here to... Anyways, I did a public records request for EMS calls for service. In 2019, we had 73,207 calls for service. In 2020, you know, the greatest pandemic scam of the whole existence, the history, we had 71,357. That's almost 2,000 less calls for service in 2020, the most dangerous time. Oh, yeah, but Larry, but people were staying home. Yeah, that didn't last long in our county. We opened right up, and a lot of people did not abide by the California, New York nonsense around here. So anyways, then we go to 2021 when the magic juice shot really rolled out. Started getting mass vaccinated, and it jumps up to 78,106 calls for service. So it goes up even more after y'all tell them, get your COVID shot. 2022, it goes up to it drops down a little bit to 76,404. 2023, 81,000 calls for service. 2024, 87,248 calls for service. Projected calls for service of this year is 88,560. I don't know if y'all are good at math, but I am. Stop getting those COVID shots and stop telling them, Lumen.
Thank you, Larry. Mr. Keith Wilkins, you're next. And then after Keith, we have Harold Griffin Jr.
Hi, Keith Wilkins, 520 South 2nd Street, 32507. I'm here to ask you to schedule a committee of the whole meeting and topic on customary use in January. I know it's a sensitive subject. It involves private property rights, but it's a worthwhile topic that the public deserves to be able to have a public discussion and hearing about. Historically, the beaches on Perdido Key, I've been out there 60 years myself, and it's always, until recent history, customary use was there. People were on the beaches. The county, I think over the last several decades, including my time there, did a disservice to the people on Perdido Key and the citizens of Escambia County by not planning for public accessibility on the Key. And my name is on the development order of a lot of those condominiums there, and all the while thinking we needed to make a better plan on the Key for public use and public accessibility. So now's the opportunity to do that. All over the state of Florida, from Jacksonville to Miami, up the southwest coast, roads dead end, there's public access provided, public parking, free public parking provided. So I think that the county people, particularly those on the north side of Perdido Key Drive, but all over the county that want to come to Perdido Key, deserve the accessibility there. So at least a conversation about it, I think, is warranted. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. We appreciate your time. Harold Griffin Jr.
Good evening, board. My name is Harold Griffin. I'm with ITO Solutions. We've been the paratransit service provider for the last 8 years. I'm here to speak with you about our ongoing paratransit services contract negotiations. I've attempted to meet with each of you individually, although I haven't been able to get with everyone. I do appreciate you guys that have taken the time to meet with me and speak with me. I know it's the holiday season, so it's tough. I'll be brief. I know right now the big thing in the county is to lower the budget. You guys are working really hard. You guys are tasked with a grave job to try to lower the budget. And so with that in mind, good negotiations require compromise on both sides. One thing about our agreement and the difference is currently on our side of the contract, the system we're being compared to is able to use contracted labor without benefits, while our contract requires union labor with mandated wages and benefits that are outlined in our RFP. If paratransit could use similar contracted labor, costs would be significantly lower. The only thing I'm asking is that you guys continue to work with us. Right now, the negotiations have been going on, but they haven't been too productive. And so I'm just here to let you guys know we're still working hard and trying to come to something.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time. Mel Pino, you're next, and Kevin Wade, you'll be after Mel Pino.
Thank you, Chairwoman Hoffberger. Melissa Pino, 413 Southeast Boblets. Okay, we got 2 minutes. Merry Christmas, everybody. Last time we were down here, it was for the Navy Point Ordinance. I want to thank all of you again, and I really did mean it at the time. I said I didn't think I was going to be coming down for a while, but quite frankly, I thought after that, seeing this huge happy display of people, that customary use was going to be just a no-brainer. And I've been really distressed to hear it get stalled out, because I know that I'm not saying new, the newer commissioners have not been through these beach wars, so you guys don't know. You just don't know what it's like. And I could start sending you guys even more links than I have via email. I shared one with Commissioner Kohler the day I got a dildo box thrown at me. We got accused of being Antifa and terrorists, and you know, the point is that sure, we can come down here for another year. We can get the T-shirts going. We can drag the speakers down here, and we can have an all-out war again, or rather than trying to make it be about a white flag being raised at the end for something that always should have been, Commissioner Strohberger, I really hope you realize what an amazing thing this would be for your legacy. There are only, give or take, 1,200 Gulfront units. That's not even counting the people who own more than one or the people who are out of town. Last population of Escambia County was 360,000 and some people. That means Gulfront condo owners make up less than 1/1,000th of Escambia County. I think there's substantially more people who would like to be back on the beach after 7 years of being removed. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Wade?
Kevin Wade, 413 Southeast Boblets. The box was empty. It was labeled industrial strength. Let's keep the beaches full of people. Customary use, bring it. Beach wars, years and years. We don't need that again. But the box was empty. It was. And seeing those beaches empty, that's a sad thing. Seeing all the signs that were out there on the beaches, only for a few miserable years, which put so many people in bad moods, stressed our sheriffs. We don't need it. Bring the people back to the beaches. Thank you.
Thank you. We did have 13 speakers that signed up that did not get the opportunity to speak. If you signed up to speak for a public forum and you did not speak, can you go on and approach the podium?
I'd like an extra minute.
Stephen Pate, Shirley Murray, Joe Winstead, Tracy Farmer, Benita McLeod, Brian Ward, Lisa Rogers, Charlie Winship, Denise Winship, Reggie Jackson, Elena Victoria, and Debbie Owens. Are any of you in the audience? Understood. Okay. Thank you. Public forum is now adjourned, and we will be convening back at 5:30 for the regular BCC meeting. Do I hit the gavel?
If everybody spoke,
They do not want to hear you. They don't want to hear you. Hold on.